The night was quiet, only the soft sounds of crickets and the wind moving through the trees. Jake and Liam, two best friends, sat near their small campfire in the forest. They had come out here to enjoy the weekend, far from the noise of the city. The stars above were clear, bright, and endless. Jake leaned back and looked up. Smiling, "It's peaceful out here," he said. Liam nodded. "Yeah, no traffic, no phones, just the stars." But then, something strange happened. A low hum filled the air, soft at first, then growing louder. Jake sat up, confused. "Do you hear that?" Liam turned his head. "Yeah, it sounds like buzzing." Suddenly, the wind stopped. The trees froze. And even the fire flickered oddly. The sky above them lit up with a glowing white light. Not the moon, not lightning, something else. The light moved fast, cutting across the sky like a sword. It stopped above them and hovered. Jake's eyes widened. "Is that a drone? A plane?" But Liam's voice was shaking. "No, man. That's not from Earth." The light began to spin, growing brighter. Both of them tried to grab their backpacks, to run, but their bodies wouldn't move. They felt heavy, like something was holding them down. Then came the beam. A circle of bright, warm light covered them. Jake screamed. But the sound didn't leave his mouth. Liam tried to crawl away, but was lifted into the air like a feather. They were rising, floating, their limbs locked in place. The fire below vanished from their eyes as they were pulled into the sky. Darkness. Silence. Then a cold metal floor. Jake opened his eyes and gasped. The air smelled sharp. The lights were dim and green. He turned his head and saw Liam lying beside him, both of them in tight gray suits they didn't recognize. The room was like a lab walls, smooth and glowing, with panels and strange blinking lights. There were no windows, just a door that looked like it melted into the wall. "Where are we?" Jake whispered. Liam sat up slowly. "This is not Earth." The door slid open with a hiss. In stepped a tall figure, female in shape, but clearly not human. Her skin was silver blue, smooth and glowing faintly, large eyes for fingers on each hand, and long black hair that floated behind her like it moved in water. She looked at them with interest, almost sadness. Then she spoke, her voice soft, but it echoed in their minds rather than their ears. "You are awake." Good. Jake stood up fast, fists raised. "Who are you? Why did you take us?" The alien woman blinked slowly and placed a hand over her chest. "I am called Soraya, and I am sorry, but we had no choice." Liam stepped forward. "No choice? You abducted us." Soraya lowered her head. "Our world is dying. Our people are nearly gone. We can no longer reproduce. But our ancient systems found two compatible humans." Jake frowned, confused. "Compatible? For what?" Alada. Soraya looked at them gently, but her words were sharp. "For survival. For life. You two are the last hope to help our kind return." Jake and Liam exchanged shocked looks. Liam said, "So you're saying you brought us here to breed?" Nodded once. "Yes, but not by force. You will see. Our people are desperate, but we will not harm you suddenly." More aliens appeared at the door, females of different shapes and colors, each with soft features and glowing eyes. They stood silently, watching the humans with a strange mix of curiosity and longing. Jake's heart pounded. Something in their eyes didn't look evil. It looked lonely, broken, and tired. Soraya whispered, "Please, don't be afraid. We only wish to live again." Jake took a step back, but not out of fear, out of shock. He looked at Liam and whispered, "What do we do now?" And Liam's answer was quiet but heavy. "We understand them, but we're still prisoners." As the door closed behind the group, the ship shifted outside the metal walls. Stars began to move past at impossible speed. The Earth was now far behind, and the two humans were alone in space, with a choice they didn't yet understand. Jake sat on a soft white platform that floated above the ground. The room was round, glowing faintly with blue light. He was alone again. Liam had been taken hours ago. No one would tell him where. There were no windows, no clocks, No way to tell how much time had passed, just the steady hum of alien. Machines in the walls? He touched the side of the bed. It lit up with symbols he didn't understand. Suddenly, a soft mist sprayed from the ceiling. The scent was sweet like flowers and something deeper. Jake felt his heart beat faster. His skin warm, his muscles tense. He stood up quickly. What the hell was that? The door opened, but no one stepped in. Instead, small drones flew around, silent, and blinking with light. They circled him, scanning his body from head to toe. Jake stepped back, but they followed. One of them let out a soft tone, then flew straight into the wall and vanished. Then came the voice, "Do not fear. This is normal." It was Soraya again, but she wasn't in the room. Her voice came from every corner of the chamber. Jake shouted, "Stop messing with me. Where's Liam?" Soraya responded calmly. "He is in the princess wing, chosen by royalty. You, Jake, are something else entirely." Before he could respond, a panel in the wall melted away. Revealing another chamber inside stood a girl, Lalian. But unlike the others, she looked young, almost his age. Her skin was soft lavender, her eyes bright green like glowing gems. She wore a simple robe and held something in her hands, a flower. Jake was stunned, frozen. She stepped forward slowly, her bare feet silent. The flower she held was not from earth, shimmered like it was made of crystal. She held it out to him, her voice soft. "This is the welcoming bloom." "I am Aeli." Jake didn't move, his voice dry. "You speak English?" She nodded gently. "Your language was placed in my mind the moment you entered this ship." She looked down, almost shy. "They told me you were afraid." "I am too," Jake looked around, nervous. "Are you here too?" "Too?" Aeli raised her hand fast. "No, not unless you want it. They told us you must choose." Jake relaxed a little. Aeli walked to the wall and touched it. A scene appeared, moving like a video, showing her planet once. We had families, joy, and music. But a sickness took all our males, and we fade. Jake watched images of tall cities, now empty and crumbling, alien women weeping, burying loved ones. Then came pictures of strange test machines scanning DNA, humans in lab suits. Aeli whispered, "Many died before we found you two. But your bodies match our code." Jake sat back down, stunned. "So, I'm just a breeding machine to you?" Aeli's eyes filled with tears. "No, not to me. I asked for you because your profile showed kindness, not just strength." Jake was silent for a long time. Then he said quietly, "I never asked for this." Aeli nodded. "Neither did I." Then the lights dimmed, and the floor under them pulsed gently, looked toward the ceiling and whispered, "It's starting." Jake frowned. "What's starting?" "The calling," she said, her voice trembling. "Every matched pair feels the bond for the first time. But it's only real if both accept it." Suddenly, Jake felt his chest grow warm. A glowing mark appeared over his heart, a soft white circle with a tiny blue flame in the middle. Deli gasped, holding her chest where the same mark glowed on her. Their eyes met. The room seemed to spin slightly. Jake stepped back. "What the hell is this?" Aeli covered her mouth in shock. "It's the bond initiation. I didn't expect it to activate so fast." Jake touched the mark, which was fading now. His voice shook. "What happens if it stays?" Aeli looked down. "We become linked. Permanently. Not just in body, but in emotion." Jake sat down hard, heart racing. The door opened suddenly, and two guards entered, tall and armored. Aeli stood protectively in front of Jake. "Stop. He has not accepted the bond." The guards paused, then bowed slightly and backed away. The door closed once more. Aeli turned to Jake and whispered, "Please, I don't want you to hate me." Jake looked into her glowing green eyes. "I don't. I need time." Aeli smiled softly and nodded. "Then I'll wait. Even if it takes forever." Liam sat in a large room that looked more like a garden than a spaceship chamber. There were trees with golden leaves, soft glowing stones on the ground, and streams that flowed without sound, but none of it felt peaceful to him. He was angry that they had been taken, angry that someone called him breeding material, and now angry because the alien girl across from him wouldn't stop smiling. She was tall and elegant, her hair a soft shade of violet, her skin pale like starlight. She wore a thin crown made of glass and light. She walked toward Liam slowly, her hands behind her back. "I'm sorry for all this," she said softly. "My name is Tiara, and I am princess of this dying world." Liam didn't answer. He had decided not to speak to any of them unless they gave him answers first. Tiara sat down on a floating bench and looked at him with bright blue eyes. She didn't look cruel. She looked sad and lonely. "I know how it sounds," she said, "but we didn't take you to harm you. We chose you because your blood is rare. And because I chose you, Liam, that made him blink. You chose me." "Yes, finally." Tiara nodded. "Yes. I had the right to select my mate. And I selected you after seeing your records, your bravery, your strong mind, and your kindness when you thought no one was looking." Liam stood up and turned away. "This isn't love," he said. "This is a trap." Tiara walked to him, not touching, just standing near. "You are free to say no. But before you decide, let me show you something." She reached to a crystal ball resting on a tree branch, and the room around them changed. Now they were standing in a dark hall filled with glowing tubes. Inside the tubes floated strange children, half human, half alien but sick, motionless, some clearly no longer alive. Liam felt a chill run through him. "What is this?" Tyra's voice was soft but cracked with pain. "These were our attempts before you, before Jake. Our scientists tried for years to find a match, but every bond failed, every child perished." She pointed to a small tube. Inside was a baby girl with soft brown skin and light silver eyes. "She lived for 3 days," Tiara whispered. "I named her Hope." Liam looked at her, and for the first time, he saw past her alien face and into her heart. She had lost more than he could imagine. "I didn't ask for this," he muttered. Tiara smiled sadly. "Neither did I. But we are here, and maybe fate wanted this." Just then, a loud chime echoed across the ship in Jake's chamber. Something similar was happening. He stood beside Ailey, both staring at the soft white mark over their chests. It was glowing again, brighter than before. Ailey gasped. "It's stabilizing." The bond is holding. A group of elder aliens entered the room silently. All female, all wearing long robes. One of them, older than the rest, stepped forward. Her voice was firm. "Jake of Earth, your DNA carries the perfect pattern. You are the catalyst." Jake raised an eyebrow. "The what?" "The one who can restart our race, not just by mating, but by waking our ancient life core." Ailey looked at Jake with tears in her eyes. "They believe you were sent by the stars, that only you can awaken what's left of our world." Jake shook his head slowly. "I'm not special. I'm just a guy who worked construction and liked to watch the stars." The elder alien reached out and placed her hand over his heart. "The stars chose you anyway," she said. Meanwhile, Liam stood in the princess's chamber, still unsure of what to feel. Tiara walked to a mirror and placed her hand on it. A map appeared, showing Earth and dozens of other points. Many crossed out. "These are the other humans we tried to bring. Most of them didn't survive the journey." Liam looked at her. "And why did we survive?" Tiara turned to him, her eyes serious. "Because your souls didn't break. You were strong inside, not just in body. You were made to endure." Liam looked at her for a long time, then finally said, "If I agree, it has to be my choice." "No force." Tiara nodded once. "I swear it will be." The ship shook slightly. Both Jake and Liam felt something deep within them, like a pulse. Ailey and Tiara looked at each other through connected vision screens. "It's starting," Ailey whispered. Jake and Liam, unaware of the storm ahead, stood at the edge of a decision that could change everything for themselves, for an entire dying world. Jake sat on the edge of a glowing platform while Ailey quietly placed her hand on the wall. A hologram appeared, showing a child, half human, half alien, running. through green fields with laughter in her voice. Her hair was silver, her eyes blue like Earth's ocean. Ailey looked at Jake with hope in her voice. She was born from an early experiment. But she only lived for 1 week. Jake lowered his head, feeling strange emotions in his chest. "Why? Are you showing me this?" he asked quietly. Ailey whispered. "Because you're not just here for mating. You're here because your kindness can heal." Jake looked into her eyes, trying to understand. "Do you really care about me? Or are you just following orders?" Ailey's face softened with pain. "I've cared from the first moment I read your file. You fixed broken roofs for free in your city. You gave food to a child during winter. That's why I asked for." He didn't know what to say. He had never thought that anyone was watching those moments, not even other humans. "Am I an experiment?" he asked. Ailey gently took his hand. "No, you are hope, in another part of the ship." Liam walked side by side with Princess Tiara through a long corridor of glowing glass walls. Behind each wall was a memory of failure, dozens. Of alien women standing alone in dark rooms, children who faded before breathing fully. The images were hard to look at. "Why show me this?" Liam asked, his voice cold. Tiara said softly, "Because I want you to see the truth before you decide." They entered a private chamber filled with books, scrolls, and strange ancient objects. "This was my father's room," Tiara said. Placing her hand on a broken staff, he believed the stars would one day send help. "You and Jake might be that help." Liam looked at her. "And what do you believe?" She looked down, then met his eyes again. "I believe you are more than your body. I believe you can choose your own meaning here." Back in Jake's chamber, the wall lit up again, this time with a warning. A voice spoke from above. "Life core energy rising. Human compatibility stabilizing." Ailey's face turned pale. "The life core. It's reacting to you." Jake stood quickly. "What does that mean?" Ailey rushed to a panel and scanned her hand. An ancient symbol appeared, something only told in stories. The last time this symbol appeared was before our race collapsed. "Jake, you may be the final key." Just then, 2 guards burst into the room. Jake stepped in front of Ailey. Fists clenched. "Don't touch her," he warned. But instead of attacking, the guards bowed. One said, "You are being called to the heart chamber." Jake looked at Ailey, confused. She nodded slowly. "It's the deepest part of the ship. The place where the planet's last spark sleeps." Meanwhile, Liam returned to his chamber, where he found a strange device sitting on his bed. It was smooth, black, and warm to the touch. He picked it up and heard his own voice play back from. It's something he once said to a child in the past. "Even if the world's unfair, you can still be kind." He looked around quickly. "How do you have this?" Tiara stepped in, holding a similar device. We watched. "But not to use you. It's to understand if your soul was right." Liam's hands shook. "You saw everything?" Tiara stepped forward. "Only what the stars showed us. We didn't just want your body, we needed your spirit." Suddenly, the ship shifted with a deep vibration. The lights dimmed and a glowing path lit up under Jake's feet. He followed it with Ailey by his side. Ahead, a huge door opened without touch, revealing a golden chamber filled with crystals, light, and floating energy. "This is the heart chamber," Ailey said. "Touch nothing. Unless you truly want to stay." Jake walked slowly toward the center. Where a pedestal floated, it held a small orb, clear, yet shining with all colors inside. As he reached out, Ailey whispered, "If you touch it, the bond becomes eternal. Your DNA will forever live in our world." Jake paused, his hand inches from the orb. "Do you love me?" he asked without turning. Ailey stepped beside him, heart open. "Yes. Even if you walk away, I will still love you." He closed his eyes, took a breath, and touched the orb. The chamber exploded in light, not pain, but warmth far across the ship. Tiara felt it too. She turned to Liam, eyes wide. "It's begun. And now you must choose." Liam stood frozen, holding the device in his hand. A voice echoed in his mind, his own voice, long forgotten. "Kindness is what makes us human." He looked at Tiara, and for the first time, he smiled. Liam couldn't sleep, even after everything he had seen. Everything Tiara had shown him, he still felt trapped. Jake had touched the heart orb. And now the entire ship buzzed with energy. Aliens whispered as he passed, calling him the second. Hope. But Liam wasn't ready to become anyone's savior. He didn't ask to be taken from Earth. He didn't ask to be chosen. He stood by the window of his chamber, the only place where he could see the stars. They were moving fast, meaning the ship was traveling through space at high speed, far, far from home. He closed his eyes and remembered his mother's smile, the sound of Earth's wind, and suddenly, a fire lit up inside him. "I'm going to find the control room," he whispered. "I'm getting us out of here." Late that night, Liam waited until the hallway guards switched shifts. He used a Silverstone AL he had once left behind it. Fit perfectly into the wall panel and opened a hidden door. He moved fast, heart pounding, footsteps silent. The halls were dark. Filled with humming lights and strange alien writing, he passed chambers where glowing children slept, some human-looking, others more alien, his hands clenched into fists. What if this isn't hope? What if it's just another lab? He finally reached a tall metal door unlike the others, cold, unmarked, and sealed. But as he touched it, a voice echoed behind him. "You don't need to do this." Liam spun around, eyes wide. It was Tiara, standing in the shadows, her voice calm. "I let you see everything." "I told you the truth," Liam snapped. "And you still locked me in a cage. It's just a prettier one." She stepped closer. "No guards, no threats. You want to go home?" She asked softly. "We can send you," Liam froze, confused. "You? What?" Tiara nodded. "Our ships can't land on Earth again, but we can drop you near one of your colonies." Far away but still human, he didn't know what to say. Tiara looked down. "I only kept you here because I hoped. You'd want to stay?" Then Liam noticed her hands. They were shaking. Tears welled in her alien eyes. "I was raised to rule. But no one taught me how to ask for love," she whispered. Liam felt his anger slowly melt into confusion. Then, "Pain? I thought this was all fake." "But maybe you're just as scared as me." She turned around and began to walk away. "No more cages, Liam. If you want to go, I'll open the way." But then screams. A sharp alarm echoed through the ship. Red lights flashed along the walls. Tiara turned, her face pale. "They found us." Liam rushed after her. "Who?" Tyra's voice shook. "A faction from our own people, those who believe bonding with humans is unnatural. They want to destroy you." At the same time, Jake was in the heart chamber with Ailey. The walls began to shake. The orb dimmed. Ailey gripped his arm. "Something's wrong. The energy's falling." Jake held her close. "We have to find Liam." Tiara and Liam ran toward the main corridor. But two enemy guards blocked their path. Liam didn't hesitate. Tackled one and grabbed the alien's weapons, some kind of glowing rod, and swung it hard. The guard fell, unconscious. Tiara blasted the second one with a blue light from her wristband. "We trained for war before we begged for peace," she muttered. They ran until they reached the life core control room where Liam had once seen. Maps of Earth inside were rebels, 5 of them, armed and pointing their weapons at the chamber's glowing core. "You were warned." One of the rebels shouted. "No mixing blood, no betrayal." Tiara stepped in front of Liam. "You'll have to go through me." The rebels hesitated, but then Jake appeared from the far door. He walked straight in, not afraid. "No one's betraying anything," he said. "We're saving your future." The rebels fired blue shots of energy, but Liam tackled Jake down just in time. Tiara blasted 2 attackers while Ayeli shielded the others with a glowing force field. One rebel fell back and hit the emergency panel, triggering lockdown doors. Slammed shut, trapping everyone inside. Smoke began to fill the room from broken wires. Jake coughed. "We're locked in." Liam looked around, eyes sharp. "There has to be a manual override." Ailey pointed to the top platform. "It's there, but it needs 2 compatible signatures." Jake and Liam didn't wait. They ran to the platform and placed their hands on the crystal panel. A beam scanned them both, recognizing their DNA. Lights turned green. Systems reset. The rebels were disarmed and paralyzed by the ship's defense grid. The doors opened. Fresh air flowed in. Everyone gasped in relief. Jake turned to Liam, breathing hard. "You okay?" Liam nodded. "Yeah." "I think I am." Tiara stepped forward, bruised but smiling. "You chose to fight for us." Liam looked at her and said quietly, No. I chose to fight for you, asterisk. The sky above the alien world turned a strange shade of gold. For the first time in years, the moons glowed together perfectly aligned. Ailey stood on the sacred hill. Her long silver dress blowing in the warm wind around her, the alien women gathered in silence. Each one holding a single crystal flame. Tonight was the bond ritual, and for the first time in history, humans were part of it. Jake stood at the edge of the circle wearing traditional robes given to him by Ailey's people. He looked unsure, his fingers brushing the glowing mark over his chest, the same mark Ailey had. He looked at her, standing barefoot in front of a large tree made of glass and light. Ailey gave him a soft smile. You don't have to do this if your heart isn't ready. Jake took a breath. I didn't come this far to back out now. He walked forward, heart pounding, and took her hand, far away, on a floating platform. Above the ceremony, Liam stood beside Tiara. He was quiet, watching the stars. Tiara wore a long robe made of soft green silk, her crown replaced with a simple braid. This is the moment, she said, her voice low, if the bond completes. The energy of our ancestors will pass through you? Liam raised an eyebrow. I'm not even sure I believe in alien magic. Tiara looked at him and smiled. It's not magic. It's memory, passed through blood and heart, suddenly. Drums began to echo across the hill. Ancient beats, slow and deep. The tree in the center began to glow brighter, branches moving like they were alive. Ailey and Jake stepped under it. Two vines lowered and touched their shoulders. Ailey spoke first. With this bond, I give my memory. My pain, my joy, and my future. Jake hesitated, but then placed his hand over hers. With this bond, I don't just give my strength. I give my choice. A wave of light burst from the tree, circling around them. Ailey's eyes filled with tears as the mark on her chest turned gold. Jake's mark followed, matching hers in brightness. The tree let out a sound like a sigh. From a world that had waited too long. At the same moment, Tiara turned to Liam. It's your turn, she said gently. Liam blinked. But I didn't say I was ready. Tiara stepped closer. You're never ready to love. Until you choose it, she reached out her hand. Liam looked at it, heart racing. Then slowly placed his hand in hers. The platform glowed beneath them, rising even higher. The wind picked up. Golden dust spinning around them like stars. Tiara whispered, if we bond now, you become more than a visitor. You become part of this world. Liam looked down at her. Her eyes were glowing, but not from power, from hope. And for the first time since he was abducted, he felt like he belonged. I'll do it, he said quietly. I don't know what tomorrow looks like, but I'll stand with you today. Their marks lit up, two glowing circles that merged into one. Across the sky, a ring of energy formed. Aliens fell to their knees in awe. The old machines under the planet hummed back to life for the first time. In generations, life was returning. Jake and Ailey stood side by side under the glass tree. Ailey leaned against him, her voice shaky. It worked. You are now part of us. Jake looked around, amazed. I don't feel different. But everything around me does. Liam and Tiara joined them. The two humans stood together, shoulder to shoulder. They had come from Earth by force, but now stood as heroes by choice. The elder alien priestess walked into the circle. Her old voice echoed loud and proud. Let it be known, our race lives, not because of our blood, but because two humans chose love over fear. Jake looked at Ailey and smiled. Liam looked at Tiara, then laughed softly. Guess we're husbands now. Tiara raised an eyebrow. Husbands? Liam shrugged. Human joke. I'll explain later. The stars above changed color, flashes of green and silver painting the sky. The planet was responding, healing, awakening. In that moment, two humans had not just saved a race. They had become part of it. The sun rose slowly over the alien world. It was a soft pink light, touching the glass trees and silver hills like a warm hand. The land, once silent and dying, now breathed again. Bird-like creatures flew across the sky, singing in strange but beautiful tones, and at the center of it all stood a tall, new structure part, alien metal. Part stone and part wood. It was called the Hall of the New Dawn. Built by both human hands and alien minds, Jake stood just outside the hall. Holding a small child in his arms, the girl had pale blue skin, dark hair like Eileen's and his brown. Human eyes. She reached for his face and laughed. Ailee stepped beside them, her arms wrapped around another baby, a boy who looked more like her. Jake smiled. Can you believe this? 2 years ago I was fixing pipes on Earth. Ailee looked at him, glowing, and now you've helped fix an entire world in the nearby fields. Dozens of young children played half human, half alien, some with glowing marks on their chests. Others with small wings, they laughed, ran, and fell. Just like any Earth child would, behind them, alien women worked in teams, planting new crops and shaping homes for future families. It wasn't just survival anymore, it was growth. Liam sat on a stone bench under a flowering tree. He held Tyra's hand gently. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Around them, alien scholars recorded stories. One old alien was painting a giant wall with pictures 2 humans standing under the twin moons. Surrounded by children and stars, a young alien boy ran to Liam, calling, "Papa, I found the shiny beetle again." Liam laughed and lifted the child high into the air. "Let's show your mother before it flies away." Tiara giggled, her face more peaceful than ever. "My father would never have believed this," she whispered to human fathers. Guiding our rebirth inside the Hall of the New Dawn, ceremony was being prepared. Jake and Liam were to be honored, not as outsiders, but as founders and leaders from across the galaxy had come. Some were skeptical, others curious, but all of them had heard the same message. The human bond saved a dying race. The ceremony began with soft music, flutes made of crystal, drums carved from glowing wood. Elder aliens walked forward, followed by children holding glowing flowers. Jake and Liam stepped onto the stage together. Wearing robes stitched by the alien women, Tiara and Ailee stood behind them, proud and calm. An elder spoke. "This world was fading, until 2 hearts from a distant planet gave us breath again. Not with power, but with love. Not with force, but with choice. Let the stars witness. The age of humans and Yularians together." The crowd stood and raised their glowing hands. Lights filled the air like 1,000 fireflies. Jake looked at Liam and whispered, "Still think you don't believe in alien magic?" Liam smirked. "I think I married it." After the ceremony, the humans walked through the crowd. Being hugged, touched, honored, small children clung to their legs, calling them Father of Peace. Jake bent down to one child and said, "No, you are the future." I just opened the door. Later that evening, as the stars returned to the sky, Jake and Ailee walked together on a path lit by glowing stones. He carried their daughter on his shoulders. Ailee looked up and said, "Earth sent 2 men, and they gave us generations." Jake smiled. "We just wanted to go home. But maybe this is home now at the same time." Liam sat with Tiara in their quiet garden. He watched their son sleeping, wrapped in a soft, glowing blanket. Tiara whispered, "When I was young, I thought leadership was strength, but now I see. Real strength is love." Liam kissed her forehead, "Then we're stronger than ever." Suddenly, a new signal lit up in the sky. It was from Earth, a long-distance colony ship, finally picking up their long-lost signal. Jake and Liam stood side by side, watching it from a high cliff. Jake asked, "Should we respond?" Liam thought for a while, then said, "Only if they come in peace. Only if they come to join, not control." They sent a message, not warning, not a cry for help, just one line: "We survived. And we're not alone anymore." And with that, the alien world turned another page. 2 human men had come as strangers, stolen in the night, but they had become something more. Fathers of a new world.